You're on the mic. And on today's episode, we're gonna give an update on an extension that Vic and his legal team had filed last week. So apparently, the extension, as I reported last week, Vic had filed an extension um, in his appeals case in terms to respond to Monica and Ron's cross appeal. Well, for more clarification, more paperwork was filed today, asking for the extension to apply to all responses. The cross appeals as well as their responses to his appeal. Apparently, it wasn't made clear if the initial extension that was asked for and granted was for all of Vic's replies, or if it was just applying to the cross appeal. So his legal team filed an extension um, for more time to to um, to extend the time for them to reply to not just Monica and Ron's cross appeal, but also to the responses of the initial defendants in the appeals as the appellees. Um, so with that, and it was granted. So all of his extensions to reply to their responses and as well as to Monica and Ron's cross appeal is extended to was apparently granted today, and it was extended to or granted yesterday was extended to May 20th. So so now Vic has until May 20th to basically reply to their responses to appeals as well as to Monica and Ron's cross appeals on the fees. So that's as much of an update we can give on that. So now with that, let's move on to some other stuff. This day in each history. So today, of course, is April the 28th, 2020. So what happened on this day in each history? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happened on this day in each history. So 70 years ago today, so on this day 70 years ago today, um, the 65th and final issue of Hit Comics was released on the newsstands by Quality Comics. It featured four stories: Jeb Rivers, Sir Raja, Bob and Swab, and Betty Bates. Hit Comics had been the home at one point of um, of Kid Eternity, among other characters. Of course, as with many of the titles and characters, Quality Comics was eventually bought up by DC Comics, and would eventually some of the characters in there would later find themselves in DC Comics. So on this date, 70 years ago, 1950, Quality Comics released on the newsstands the 65th and final issue of Hit Comics um, on this date. So moving on then to on this date in 1970, Ford Licensing Corporation, most people know it as 4Kids Entertainment, is an American licensing company that started out as Leisure Concepts Incorporated on this date in 1970. On this date, 50 years ago, 4Kids Entertainment, as most people know it, um, now known as Ford Licensing Corporation, basically was founded on this date in 1970 as
Leisure.
Leisure Concepts Incorporated.
Concepts. Leisure. 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 Concepts. Leis
Of course, as everybody knows, 4Kids was at one point the home of like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, they were the licensing company for Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and a number of other, 4Kids shows, including Fighting Foodons, Ultimate Muscle, The Kikumon Legacy, Kirby Right Back at You, Sonic X, F-Zero, GP Legend, Shaman King, One Piece, the 4Kids dub of One Piece, Mew Mew Power, Magical Do Re Mi, Dinosaur King. Those were all, and of course, many of the accompanying films at the time. So on this date, 50 years ago, 4Kids Entertainment, now known as 4 Licensing Corporation, originally known as Leisure Concepts Incorporated, was born on, basically came into, was founded on this date in 1970, 50 years ago today. And of course, now moving on, the last little tidbit. On this date 30 years ago today. So we went 70, 50, and 30. Sometimes it happens that way. Um, on this date, 30 years ago today, April 28th, 1990, Jimmy Valiant would regain the USWA title from Jerry Lawler in Memphis. The Boogie Woogie Man, also one half of the former WWF World Tag Team Champions, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, would be in a rivalry with Jerry Lawler here in April of '90. Trading the USWA title back and forth with him in a series of matches in Memphis. So on this date, he would regain that title from Jerry Lawler in Memphis. Um, and with that now, guys, right now, as with everything, as we're having to try to hunker down a little bit during this pandemic time. I just want to remind you guys that, of course, it's a good time to catch up on anime. As you guys know, I promote a bunch of different voice actors because Funimation is not the only dubbing company out there. There's a lot of others that you can support as well. So and you should try to find anime wherever you can find it. Um, you know, so I encourage you to take this time to get caught up on as many animes as you can find. Because it can be fun to watch. Get into a lot of these people's work. And as always, guys, if there's a particular voice, when we do start, when everything starts opening up again, and conventions start happening again, and it will eventually happen. This lockdown can't happen forever, but when the conventions do start popping up again, always remember that if there's a particular voice actor or actress that you want to meet that you're really a fan of and you want to meet, the best way to meet them is to contact your local cons and invite those, ask them to invite those guests to, because that's how, voice actors and actresses get to cons. They need to be invited. So get them invited to cons. You just very, in a very polite, respectful manner, ask your local cons to invite them. Let them know, hey, I want to meet this person here, at your con. And I'm sure many of them will appreciate the fanfare. And with that, guys, if you check the links below, um, my Discord link is down there. If you want to contact me directly, you can always, direct message me on my Discord. Also, I'm still promoting a bunch of different dub companies because, as you guys know, as I mentioned before, Funimation is not the only game in town. Other dub companies, there's Sentai in Houston. There are the ones in New York, like Media Blasters and Headline Sound Studios. There's the ones up in Canada, Ocean Studios and Blue Water. Ocean Studios in Vancouver, Blue Water in Calgary. There's there's Studiopolis based out of LA, which dubs a lot of Viz's works, Viz's licensed works, as well as Bang Zoom in LA. So there's a lot of stuff you guys can really get caught up on. Just got to go find it. Um, so check those works out as well. Also, I'm still promoting the GoFundMe's. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If you have the means to, it's on your heart to do so, please consider donating. If if you've already donated, please consider donating again. And if you cannot donate, you can still help out the cause by sharing the link. Because sharing is caring, and you never know. Maybe there's somebody in your circle of friends who may see it and say, "Yeah, I want to help out too." Doesn't hurt to ask. Um, And with that, guys, if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I love the conversations with you guys as long as they're civil and respectful, and I love getting the information out to you guys because that's ultimately what it's about. It's getting the information out there. There's a lot of things that people don't always look at or think about, in these things. So I hope to empower you guys more by giving you more of the information, getting you guys, even building up even more of your interest in anime because it can be a very good and entertaining genre, you know. And you don't have to just rely on just one or two companies to get your anime. There's a lot of other works out there too. So, so with that, guys, and don't forget this Friday. I hope to see you all at the premiere. Voices Big and Small. As I said this week, I'll be focusing in on Willow Johnson, of course, the English voice of Kikyo from Inuyasha. So I hope you guys will come out, check out, learn more about her work, and learn more about her. Um, and with that, I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Bye.